Hey, how you are doing? Have you learned something new today? Hands up, who has learned something new today? Excellent. So I have less of a pressure to teach you something. I can be the fluff in between. I'm going to tell you 3 stories about how conversations have turned into conversions today. 3 very personal stories involving different companies I've been involved with. My name is Fredrik, by the way. I'm the chairman of the board at a company called Leadoo. Hopefully you met Leadoo here today, many of you. I'm also the chief growth officer at an AI company called Valohai. I'm the founder of Digital Booker, been the VP of marketing at a fairly successful IT company called Vaadin, and on the board of Mirador, Bonalive, and City Digital. It's good I put it up there. I probably should have a clicker. Is it this one? Okay, excellent. So let's get started with the stories. So I'm not here to teach you anything else. I'm trying to draw things from my personal history, from stories, and not theories about, and not even Martech as such. These are stories about conversations, and these are stories about conversions. But let's jump to the first one. The first story is about cold calls and how they're not very personal. It's related to Digital Booker. Those of you from Finland might have bumped into it. It was the largest online booking system for yoga, hairdressers, and so forth. So if you ever had a haircut, when we sold the company in 2015, we were serving roughly 1.5 million Finns every year. The story from Digital Booker was that our sort of idea was that sales outbounds aren't very personal. They are very personal when they succeed. They're the best kind of conversations you can have because it's one-to-one. It's not one-to-many like now or one-to-a-million like on your website. So they're very personal when they work, but most of the time they don't work. And when they don't work, they're the opposite of good. They usually call you at a time you don't want to talk, and they usually want to push you a product at a time that you're not considering the product itself. By the way, all my stories have to do with SaaS. I've been involved in SaaS, software as a service, in my whole life. But they're from different sectors, from small and medium-sized companies all the way to enterprises. So we thought that could there be a different way to interact with the customers instead? Instead of jumping in front of the customers, could we be there when they need us instead? And could we make sure that they knew about us before they even needed us? So to do this, we made sure that our customers were able to find us. So if you remember, Digital Booker was a company who sold online booking systems. So a yoga place somewhere, they had customers. So we wanted their customers, who might be hairdressers or be part of a corporation somewhere, to know who we were, so that we could help them and also make people aware of ourselves. To do this, we turned everything around in the product. From the beginning, it was very white labeled. The product itself looked like our customers, but instead we started making sure that our own product name was visible all over the place. When you got a confirmation email, we even registered a specific name in Finland called Varaheti, just to make sure that people who found this URL, they wouldn't see Hiusvana-kerho, as it said previously, they would find our domain instead, and that domain will redirect to our place. We made sure the logos were there and so forth. And of course, it didn't stop there. We made it our business to help you as consumers using our customer system. So when they had a problem, they came to us. They didn't go to the yoga house or the barber shop or anybody else. So we made sure that the end customers had a super awesome experience because they would be our next customers. In the end, roughly 40% of our customers, new customers, came measurably through these referrals, these clicks. In the end, probably even more like 80% came through these and maybe 20% through direct ads. We had 0 salespeople in the company. We did everything through this sort of a referral way of doing it. Most importantly, we didn't force feed a product to our customers. Seth Godin says that don't find customers for your product, find products for your customers. So unlike our competitors that had ready-made products, we were actually talking to the end customers who were using our product and making our product better and better for them all the time, because they would be our next customers. This probably isn't the whole story. Of course, we had market timing, we had a product market fit thanks to this. But this is the go-to-market strategy we went through, and which worked for us because we flipped the tables and did something differently than anybody else. So this was story number 1. Story number 2 is about winning the hearts of the users, not the managers. So second story is about an IT company called Vaadin. I built the sales team there and then built the marketing team there. Spent a couple of years in Silicon Valley even during that time. But Vaadin was an exceptional company because during the time when we got started with Vaadin, most sales happened like this. It was the IBMs of the world, the C-level meetings where you try to sell software through the CTOs at golf courses and Michelin star restaurants, but you forgot about who was actually using the product, the end system itself. The other way people were selling these technologies where these developers, they took the software into use by themselves. So whatever Google came out with this year, all the developers rushed to that because that was the cool shit they had to use. The developers didn't care about legal issues or how Google would maintain the technology 5 years into the future. They only cared about what Google did, and that was the cool shit. So we thought again, can we turn this the other way around? Can we have meaningful conversations with the actual users of the product instead of talking to the managers up there? And this actually became the mantra for our growth team or marketing team, winning over the hearts of the users. In our case, the developers who were using the tools. We bet on this, and through this we bet on that if we were able to win over the hearts of the users, they would take us to the managers. We even went so far that we changed our website completely. Previously, we had the typical website, this is our product, this is our pricing, this is what we do. Instead, we turned it into a community centerpiece where people could discuss about issues. We even made a directory where we helped them share things that they did. I mean, these are Fortune 500 companies, and these developers are sharing the stuff with a community of other Fortune 500 company developers, so it's quite exceptional. We made physical meetups. We had several hundred people all around the world meeting up in Mexico, San Francisco, Philippines, Venezuela, and so forth. We organized our own conferences with over 600 people attending it, meeting together in Germany and the US. We even had a meetup in Viking Line in February, in the middle of the ice, developers meeting up together and discussing technology, all through our community and all through sort of around our technology. At the end of the day, I would say we were fairly successful. We had over 40% of the Fortune 500 as users, less as customers, but a significant amount of customers as well. So this was sort of a B2B sales in an enterprise sector, whereas Digital Booker previously was for small and medium-sized companies. Instead of relying on the same bi-directional communication with the purchasing person and me as a sales guy, we bet on a community of people collaborating together, a multidimensional communication. As Aristotle said, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So we bet on this and got lucky, but also successful through our go-to-market strategy. The third story is fairly recent. Today I'm involved in several companies involving AI and lead generation. And the third story is about talking to non-customers, striking up a conversation with those that are not yet customers or don't necessarily even have their buying pants on them yet. So if you look at the traditional funnel, one of the companies I'm involved in is called Leadoo. This is how we thought at Leadoo. So this is the traditional sales funnel, but turned around. So if we think about the traditional sales funnel, if somebody comes to your website, probably 3% are ready to purchase something. Then there's those 7 plus 30% that are there but not ready to buy. And then there's those 30% that definitely are not interested in your product. So why do we invest as marketers, why do we invest so much time on the 3%? And when the 67% leaves our website, we invest in them to come back to our website again to see the same crap we just showed to them already. I mean, what's going to change if we once have something, we don't strike a conversation with them the first time they come, and then we try to get them back and back and back and don't even talk to them again until they magically jump into the I'm really interested part. So these passive buyers, you've all been there. You've seen an ad for Zalando on Facebook at 11 p.m. You clicked on something, you bought a new shoes. Please tell me I'm not alone in this. There are passive buyers out there, and they are the majority. Why don't we strike a conversation with them? This was the theory behind Leadoo. Just an example what it does. So here's a pricing page of one of our customers. When you come to the pricing page, we are helping you understand the pricing in your specific case. This is those who can't read Finnish, so this is about home cleaning. Which day would you like to have it? We're asking about the size of your house. At the same time, we're gathering valuable information for our sales team when they have finished this conversation. If we want to do retargeting of ads, we at least know the size of their house already, so it's much easier to retarget them through this conversation than just having random information that somebody went to our website. And at the end of the day, when they've had a relevant conversation in the use case, in this case the pricing page of a company, they are probably much more comfortable with giving you their email address than filling in a sales form with 20 fields inside of them. So this is a chatbot, but for the sake of conversing with passive users so that they become active. Other use cases, just quickly, are helping the customer find what they want. So there might be use cases where a company has several services which are hard to communicate. So we can help in your specific use case. We can have more fine-grained decision trees and so forth. So these are all about having meaningful conversations. Have we had any results so far? So far, our customers are getting 5 times more leads than they did previously. No matter which page, where we put it, same amount of traffic, they're getting 5 times more leads thanks to this conversation. Their customers are having a conversation again with a bot which scales infinitely. And these are this is the nice intersection between marketing and machine learning. With machine learning, we can make these bots even more intelligent, but also it scales infinitely. We can have an infinite amount of discussions. We can have 1 million discussions at the same time on the website. My final story, these were the 3 stories. There's always a bonus story as well. The final story is about love. Some of you woke up during this slide. It might be a different kind of love. This is quite a personal story about the power of conversations. I was 18 years old. I was with my then girlfriend in Athens together with her parents. This was the first trip abroad with her. On the last day, their plane left early in the morning. My left late in the afternoon. So I had 1 day in Athens alone. My wife will hate for me to tell this story, but anyway, here goes. So I was walking around the city. I had to give up my hotel room. I was walking around the city. At some point in the afternoon, an elderly man came up to me and asked me if I want to come to his restaurant. I was like, yeah, it's like 1 or 2 p.m. Yes, I'm hungry. Let's go to your restaurant. Probably some bells should have gone off in my head after we walked for like 500 meters and we're still not at this restaurant, but I was 18 years old. I was kind of naive. After a while, we get to his restaurant. We go inside. The door gets shut behind me, and I almost shit my pants when I see it's not a restaurant, it's a bar. There's a like big monkey boy sitting next to the door like this. In front of the door is shut. Inside the bar, there's only the bouncer, this older man, me, and a bartender behind the table. The old man takes me to the table and tells me that have a drink, and I'm like, I'm almost shitting my pants here, so I'm having a beer. He pours it for me. After a while, a girl like this comes from behind the drapes and puts her hand on my lap. And then the elderly man says with a thick Greek accent that, do you want to make baby with Maria? And I was like, oh shit, now I really shit my pants. I'm in a foreign country on the first trip with my girlfriend abroad, and I'm already in a prostitute situation here. That how should I make it out of here? At the end, I did the only thing I could do. We started talking. I was asking her about her hobbies, how she ended up there. She moved from some smaller city to Athens. She did some Japanese calligraphy and stuff like that. After what felt like half an hour, in reality it probably was like 5 minutes or something, she went to the door and told the goon at the door something, and she said that yeah, you're good, that you can go. I walked outside, I ran for 15 minutes into find the first taxi, went to the airport, and hopefully saved my life there. 6 years later, I got married to my then girlfriend, same girlfriend I went to Athens with, went through our honeymoon to Athens, so well played. Today we have 2 girls, and neither of them is called Maria. Yeah, this was sort of a story, very personal story about how conversations can change life situations. I mean, it was a very scary place. I'm not sure if I was in danger or not, but something tells me that it could have gone the other way as well. So conversions really start at conversations, and marketing really is about starting bi-directional conversations. Today we haven't had much time to have a conversation together. It's more been like a monologue from my part. I hope that you got some takeaways from this, and otherwise let's continue the conversation after this. I'm here for the rest of the day. Thank you.